Good morning from CSI. Today we're going to go through the paint polishing process for these new super clears. They're very hard, and I see that a lot of people are having a lot of difficulty in getting the swirl marks out using conventional compound polish and glaze systems. CSI System is basically one single product. The 62-203 is our product line, and it is there to address the time factor, the quality factor, and the cost factor. Those three items are called the golden triangle in marketing. In the production business, you're going to pick one of those that is very, very important, and you're going to put that at the top of the triangle. And in putting that at the top of the triangle, you say that is the most important issue in your shop. It may be quality. Your shop may be quality driven, and you say quality is the absolute most important item. And you put the other two issues at the bottom. You may have two issues. So on that triangle, you're going to flip it to say time being very important, and quality being very important. And then you put cost as a secondary issue. I believe that, being a body shop owner, that all three of those issues are very, very important. And we try to address every single one of those issues. One, we guarantee no swirl marks, even on these super, super hard clears. We're going to take the dirt nib out with 2000 grit sandpaper, and I would recommend on these super hard clears not to use anything more than 2000 grit. The 2000 grit that we use, and I'm sure there are a lot of 2000 grits out there that work really well. Check them, make sure they have a real regular scratch pattern with no irregular shapes. That is key for 2000 grit doing the cutting. And we're going to take out the dirt nib, and then we're going to convert those 2000 grit scratches to 3000 grit. And it is important when you're using these super hard clears to take that out as far as possible. 3000 we believe is as far as you need to go. There's no need to go any further than that. The CSI CERAM-X is capable of taking out 600 grit, but you don't want to address these super clears with anything that aggressive. One, you're not putting that much on because of the cost of the product, so you don't have that much millage to remove. And two, the time involved in removing a scratch pattern that's that deep. So we're going to go through it with 2000 grit, and then 3000 grit, and then buff it with a wool pad and a foam pad. And yes, we do recommend a wool pad. One, because of the time factor. Time is very, very important. You're never ever going to beat the time factor using a foam pad to cut if you're going to spend the time to convert a scratch pattern up to where a foam pad can address it properly. We say hit it with the 2000, hit it with the 3000, and then start with the wool pad. You will have a slight wool pad mark, and we'll show that using a 1000 lumen light on this panel. And I'm going to go through these steps so you can see it and hopefully address any of the questions that I'm hearing from all these, the big OEM shops and small shops too. Small shops that have a serious, just as big a problem as the big shops have on addressing swirl marks. And I still hear from body shops all over the country that the swirl marks are a big issue. So thank you for tuning in to CSI, and we're going to go get started using 2000 and 3000 grit, and then addressing it with a wool pad and a foam pad, all with one single product, CERAM-X, wiping it all off, and then looking at it with a 1000 lumen light to make sure that we don't have any scratches or any swirl marks left behind. Okay, so what we're going to do is remove these little dirt particles. There's not very much on this panel. I am seeing a lot of body shops now that are getting this kind of paintwork, you almost don't want to touch it. But you know, if you have a picky customer, they're going to point out these things, and it's not hard. You know, there was a time, even in my shop, that if I could get paintwork that looked like this, it would be like, why touch it? Because I know if I touch it with compound, I'm going to have a nightmare on my hands. But now with CSI and the ability that it has to take these scratches out without putting a bunch of damaging marks in the surface, that we can get in and get finished and you know, give the customer really an OE finish. So 2,000 is what we're going to start with, 3,000 is what we're going to convert to, and then we're going to hit it with a wool pad. So here, these are the two little dirt particles. You can see they're kind of exposed right there. You can also see the orange peel that's there. The orange peel is fine. Take them out until they're just rounded off with the 2,000. There's no need to go any further than that because it'll look like orange peel when we get done. So very, very lightly with the 2,000. Now we're going to convert to 3,000. And you're just barely taking out those scratches. We're doing this dry, one, so we can see this a little bit better. This sandpaper works wet or dry. I really like it. It doesn't clog up. It's nothing sticking on here and causing a bunch of scratches to happen. But that finish looks really good. We took the dirt nibs out. Now we're going to hit it with a wool pad, and then I'll show what it looks like with the 1,000 lumen light. So you can see that we will get a mark from the wool pad, but then we're going to convert to a foam pad and have the same finish. Okay, so now what we're going to do is using a 3-inch pad, and obviously you can do this with any size buffer, and I'm using a drill. It's a battery powered drill. This is a Milwaukee. I'm not associated with this company, but I love these tools. I have lots of them, and if you saw the video that I did on the Corvette, I'm using the big buffer that they have, and it works great. They're battery powered. I don't have to drag a cord around, especially for doing these kind of demos. So this is a wool pad. We do sell woolen foam for the 3-inch market too. Apply the product to the pad, just a small amount right in the middle. It's very, very important that we do this, and I'm going to show why. Push it down. Do not move it around. Inject it into the pad. That's really important because now the product is going to gel. It won't get sticky, but it's going to gel and it's going to get in the pad. This wool pad will now become a cutting disc, and it is important for the guys to understand that, to do this fast, to do this faster than any compounding system. If you allowed a solvent-based product to do this, it's going to dry up, it's going to get sticky. This will never get sticky. It just comes right off. So put some pressure on the surface and just buff away. Because it's 3,000 grit, it's going to come out very easy. And again, it's important that we get that conversion. You can see it really stays wet. It doesn't dry up like a solvent-based product. If you're doing it out in the sun, works the same way. Gives you a lot of working time. Come up on edge. That'll clean the surface so you can see that you got out all your scratches. Pressure is okay with CSI. It's okay. Don't be afraid of the pressure. And this clear is a rock. It is super, super hard. Okay, so probably a little hard to see on the video, but we're going to wipe that off right now and see what it looks like. All the splatter cleans up really easy. It's not like a sticky compound. And then from this light, which I do have lots of lights going on in here. We have fluorescence from the ceiling. I have camera backlighting here, but what we really want to see is what it looks under a lumen light. So I'm going to get that, and then we're going to look directly at what this looks like and see how it looks. Okay, so this is what a 1000 lumen light looks like. It has 2 AA batteries. It's very cheap. I think I paid 25 bucks at one of the auto parts stores. I think it was Pep Boys that I bought this at. It's a good tool. You can go in your pocket. You don't need any kind of fancy lights. One of the things that I see in lots of body shops all over the country is poor lighting. And we're asking the guys to do absolutely perfect work with poor lighting. So if you're a body shop owner, these are a great tool. And it'll be great for you to check the work and for them to check the work, because there's nothing worse than having it run through the whole detailing process and then find out you have a swirl mark. So we're going to look at this surface with a 1000 lumen light, and we will see a wool pad mark. That is okay. As long as it's a very consistent, I don't want to see any straight line scratches. Any 2000 or 3000. We want to make sure we have full conversion to a wool pad mark. So this one has a telescoping lens on it. But you can see we've got a very consistent wool pad mark on there. That is totally okay. What I don't want to see are any trench marks. I call them cornrow scratches. Looks like a plowed field from the sky. I don't want to see any of the sand scratches. So when I'm teaching this, if I'm doing a teaching class in a body shop, I need the guys to understand that I don't want to see any sand scratches. I do want to see a rotary pad mark. Now we're going to take that out with the foam pad, and we're going to do the same exact thing with the different pad, using a black foam pad, using CERAM-X, the same product, and we're going to convert these hologram scratches to this, all with one single product. Okay, so this is what the black foam pad looks like. Again, apply the product, just a small amount. You're not going to need very much. Apply it to the center of the pad. We're going to do the exact same thing of compressing the product into the foam pad. So again, this pad becomes a cutting disc to remove that hologram. Hold it flat, don't move it around. There's no need to move it around. Inject it into the pad. That's what I want to see. I want it to go into the pores of the pad. Hold it flat. Don't come up on edge with the foam. Hold it as flat as you can. The flatter, the better. Compress the pad a little bit, and then we're going to back off the pressure as we get towards the finish. And notice I only used a tiny little bit of product, so we're not wasting a bunch of product. We're not making a big mess. Okay, so now we're going to wipe it off, and then we're going to look at it with the lumen light, and then we're going to wash it with water and make sure that it's really, really clean. Microfiber always to wipe off, nothing else, no cotton products ever, just microfiber. Looks really good right now. Definitely you can see a difference even in this lighting, but when we put the lumen light on there, hopefully we're not going to see any swirl marks at all. Make sure there's nothing on here, nothing at all. We don't want anything on that surface. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to look at it with the 1000 lumen light. I want to show it, you know, so everybody can see in the camera. It looks really good. Not seeing any holograms at all. We took out all the scratches. The gloss of the black looks really nice. And we can compare it down here where we haven't buffed at all. Obviously this surface has been wiped off a couple times, and this will be like a normal towel scratch that any car gets in it, and you can see it has like a straight line pattern in it. It's not, you know, no swirl marks down here or anything. Nobody's been buffing on this. But up here, we don't even have those straight line scratches. So this looks better than this. And that's all we need to do. From a color sanding mark, remove the dirt nib, to this, all with one single product, CERAM-X. If you have any questions about the process, please email me, T. Horvath, and put it up here, at Clearcoatsolutions.com. You can find my email address. You can find my phone number on my website, www.clearcoatsolutions.com, or you can put comments right there in YouTube, okay? So I hope this helps you in your body shop to, just make something that has been a nightmare. I know it was for me, all the years that I had a body shop and still do body work and paint. So, it's just there to help you and try to make your life a little easier. So thanks for watching, and bye for now from CSI.